You wanna do a fake lead in, like we're talking about our drinks, or what?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Or it could just be this talk right here where we're having a fake talk about doing a fake lead in.
I love fake talking about fake lead-ins.
Yes,
to trick the audience.
Yeah.
Ha! This
Fooled
isn't
you.
all just off the cuff. How crazy!
This is a well planned and crafted hodgepodge of bullshit.
Indeed. Hey everybody, this is Out of Memory. I'm AJ Hamilton,
I'm Christopher Hampson.
and we are a podcast. And
That's Girl on Couch.
hey, girl on couch. And you know what we do here is we go back, we think about something that we really loved in our life. Do you remember things that you loved in your life, Chris?
I've loved a few.
And then we sort of reminisce about that type of stuff, and then we take a break.
Yep.
And then what do we do, Chris? What do we do after that?
On our big old long break, we take a look at that thing that we kind of remember, usually not very well, and re-experience it, see how it stacks up by today more. I don't even know if I can call them matured standards. But we look at it again, see if it sucks or if it's still good.
Sure.
Then we throw it against a score, comparing it to how we remembered.
That's right. And we also throw in a little research there, too, because we don't want to be irresponsible, do we?
Nah.
We want to be informed, and we want to inform. So that's for you folks.
We like the mix. We like
That's
being
right.
irresponsible and also throwing in some knowledge.
Exactly.
Sure.
So, Chris,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something.
I've been waiting all day for you to ask me something.
Have you ever been exposed to ooze?
Have I ever been exposed to ooze?
Ooze? Like mutagen type ooze?
Oh, mutagen ooze. No.
No.
No, I'd say, well, I don't know. I think there's a lot of plastics from the 90s that possibly could leach some mutagen ooze into things that we drink.
Is that what you're drinking out of right now?
I am. I'm drinking out of a sweet thermos that I found from 1990. That my mom wrote my name on it with a marker, and she put my name in quotes.
So
Here
like,
you go, Christopher.
It's not actually Christopher, it's Christopher.
So welcome to today's episode on bad plastics. See if they taste as good as we remember them.
Yum, yum, yum. I am drinking I couldn't find any old 90s merchandise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I'm just drinking the
you gave away
greenest
the episode.
the greenest drink I possibly can. It's it's a Midori sour. So the greenest drink and the sissiest drink that I can think of.
Well, you could have done an apple teeny, which I think are also green, aren't they?
Very sweet and very green. You're absolutely right. I could have done that. Shoot, next time.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking a Ida Hop from Alameda Island. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a big old bottle too.
Oh, it's local in Alameda Island?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's
Everybody
a nice
who's
little island that's got lots of booze on it.
Yes, indeed. Anybody who's local in the Bay Area, you should go over and go to them.
Do the thing.
Buy the things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Buy stuff.
Buy stuff.
AJ, have you ever been exposed to mutagen, or is that pretty much alcohol?
No, that's absolutely. This
Technically, it could
tastes
be
like
mutagen.
mutagen. Yeah.
If you read the Surgeon General's warning on here.
I was exposed to mutagen, but the toy kind. Yeah.
Nice.
It didn't do much. I thought it was going to do more.
So our episode is on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
If you hadn't guessed,
if you didn't pick up on that,
I want to talk about that. It's a very long title of a comic book cartoon show.
It's true.
Any type of franchise. I cannot, if I'm thinking about it and I'm going to talk to somebody about it, I always intend to say, oh, the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But I end up just starting it out and being like, oh, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. God, that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
to
that
say the whole
immediately
thing.
shows your age. It's like,
Oh, does
okay.
it?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do kids call it? I think it's
TMNT.
oh god, I hate that it's abbreviated. Like
Me
that.
too. Well, that
Um,
was just for like one of the TV shows I think that I didn't really watch, and then I guess they did that for the live action 2000s movies, right?
yeah. There
Kinda.
was I guess a movie version of that cartoon,
Yeah, right.
and now they have a 3D one. That's actually it's pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's they got a lot of great talent on it too. They brought back a couple of the original voices. They have a lot of the amazing new voiceover folks from this generation
Any
that
Beast
are working
Wars?
on it. Not that I know of,
Oh,
but I
well,
know that the
that's a shitty
original
move.
I know that the original Raphael is playing the new Donatello.
Is that
And
Jim Cummings?
no, his name's
Who
Rob
is it?
Paulson.
Rob Paulson.
And funny enough, there's a continuing new TV series, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's the only reason I know this is because I follow a couple of him and a friend of mine, Eric Bauza, who plays Tiger Claw in the current one. He's going to be Splinter,
Nice.
and then Rob Paulson, the guy who did the two previous characters, he's now voice directing them all, which is very cool.
Is he? But he's not Raphael anymore, is he?
No, he's Donatello, and
That's-
now for the new one, he's going to be the whole director of the whole show. It's fantastic.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love Rob Paulson.
Mhm.
That's I'm saying it right?
Yeah. He was Yakko.
He was Stanley Ipkiss in the Mask cartoon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many great voices from the 80s and 90s and today.
Yeah. But
What are we, a
today's
local
episode,
radio show?
we're constraining ourselves to just the '90s cartoon and toys
Yes, that's right. Because
this is a huge category.
This franchise is massive, obviously, from all the stuff that we've talked about already.
Yes,
But yeah, no, how much did you was it a big part of your life? Did you go home every day and like play with the toys, watch the TV show, everything like that?
I'm pretty sure that I was a Ninja Turtle.
Ooh.
My brother and I had just moved back from England, like around the time that Ninja Turtles was getting big.
Mm-hmm.
And even so that like my grandma in England would like cut the Ninja Turtles comic strip that was printed in the newspaper and mail it to me.
Aw.
But yeah, like me and my brother, we had the costumes, like we each had like different bandanas and like the horrible plastic turtle nose that would go over your nose.
That, like bit onto your face. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
It had two nose holes, but like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't do very well. It was just a sweaty mess that happened there. But like we would sit down like at the dinner table and put that shit on and be shirtless and have our weapons on the table and just eat dinner like that, like fucking turtles.
Absolutely. And this is a thing that anybody, you could ask anybody who's probably alive right now, who was your favorite turtle?
Oh shit, that's a great question. So I was always partial to Raphael.
Okay.
And I couldn't even tell you why. Honestly, he's probably the shittiest turtle.
He's the rude dude with the attitude.
I guess. Well, he's definitely the rude dude with the attitude in like the movies, which we're not touching on. But as far as the cartoon goes, like I don't know. He's probably the most unlikable character.
Well, he was just kind of a smartass.
He was a smartass, yeah. But like he wasn't the party dude. He wasn't the leader with the swords, and he wasn't like the nerd.
He didn't invent things. Yeah.
I liked size. I like how they look.
Dude.
Maybe that's what it was, but I don't know. I think red was my favorite color, so maybe that had some bearing on it. But
funny enough, I don't know anything about martial arts, but I always thought that they were the least effective. But then you think about nunchucks, and those are those are useful too. But
I feel like
they just don't
nunchucks-
have the reach, you know?
Sure. I mean, nunchucks. I feel like you're just you're asking to be hit in the face by yourself.
Yeah, you got like a 25% chance that you're not going to hit the other guy, and it's just going to come back and hit you.
Yeah, you're pretty much just Tasmanian devil. Like you're just your shit's out of control. You're going to hurt the ones you love. I do know a little bit about weaponry, and that sais are supposed to be like a defensive weapon mostly.
Interesting.
However, in any of the toys and cartoons and movies, they look pretty fucking sharp.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
really sharp.
but they're not. The thing about those are they're not cutting weapons. They are piercing weapons, and so you got to get like close to them, and you know, yeah,
they're
you
great
can
in
block.
jails.
What's that?
They're great in jail. Shank, 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 shank.
Triple shiv, shiv right there. It's great.
Who was your favorite turtle?
My favorite. Okay, so it broke down to two ways. I was really a fan of Donatello just because, and it's continued on. I'm a tech geek. I love tech stuff. But my dad, the first toy that I ever got was when I was about 5 years old, and it had just come out, and my dad got it like shipped from Detroit because he knew people through his business, and got it shipped because it was all sold out. It was the Michelangelo original figure.
With the extra like shitty plastic nunchucks.
Oh, of course. that you like poked out of the plastic square.
Dude,
Do you remember those?
I fucking missed that. Like, even though like it was totally a double-edged sword of like that era of toys.
Yeah,
because you would get a rack of weaponry, like with a G.I. Joe or a Ninja Turtle, like a Ninja Star, and like shit that I still don't know what it does. That one that's like, it's a handle, kind of like a saw, but it just has like a triangle blade on the end end of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah,
but you definitely get those rough edges on it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's right. It was like pizza. Was the pizza shape, but it had like two extra spikes out of it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what all of that was, but you could.
That was just sharp pizza.
You could outfit them with everything.
Cheddar, I believe.
Yummy. But they would. It also was bad because when you broke it off, it had that little extra piece of plastic that you'd have to like nibble off or like cut off with scissors or something like that.
I know. I definitely chewed that shit off. Definitely. That's why I have shitty teeth now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I love that question though. Just like, who was your favorite turtle? It's such a popular category of discussion. I mean, maybe not nowadays, but like you could ask anybody in our age range, like, who's your favorite turtle? You don't even have to explain it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As you said, it's a mouthful, but just that there's no other popular turtles, or just like that. It was just such a beloved category.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I can't. It's weird that they even came up with the idea of turtles as heroes, because you don't think about them as anything but like slow, Yertle the turtle, whatever, it's the tortoise
That's not
and
a
the
real
hare.
thing.
Yertle the turtle. It's a storybook for young kids.
Did it fight robots?
Death by robots. Yes, robot turtles, which were actually a thing in this.
Yes, that's true.
Metalhead, and there was a couple other ones, I think. Cyber turtles. Where did this all start, though?
Yeah, I guess we got to start at the start, or at least for what we remember. I know
the origins. Yeah.
Yeah, I know of the comic by Kevin Eastman and Peter
Laird.
Was it Lard?
Laird.
And I didn't have a whole lot of access to this. I got like a reprint of the first comic a lot later on, but
yeah, it
was pretty fucking violent.
It's dark. There's I don't remember if there's blood, but there's implied violence, at least.
Totally.
If I remember. They had red masks. They weren't differentiated.
No.
They would all have to call each other by their names.
Yeah, you just have to know. I think that they got differentiated through the saga that they went through, though, because there was maimings, and there was like some of them died. I feel like somebody got their face burned off. Maybe it was Raphael and had to wear a hockey mask.
There was also the famous hockey mask wearer, Casey Jones.
Sure,
but maybe they could match. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I remember I wasn't reading the comics at this time, but it's still running, and just recently
the original series.
I don't know if it's the original series. They may have rebooted it. They may have rebooted it. I don't know.
I bet that most likely, I would say they probably have.
Absolutely.
Is it still by the original guys, Kevin?
I do not
Peter?
think so. I think they have definitely moved on. But it's I regardless. Like I said, I haven't read them for a while. But spoilers: Donatello gets killed.
Yeah, in the original series. Yeah.
I don't even think it was the original series. I don't know when this happened, but yeah, there were no prisoners, I would say.
Sure.
It was definitely not like they cleaned it up significantly for the cartoon.
It's almost like they started with the gritty Christopher Nolan version of of this series, and then it's amazing where it goes from there, because it definitely just gets more, I don't know, safe and bastardized.
Yeah. I think the movies, and we're not talking about those, but they sort of
shut up about those.
All right, I'm done. They kind of followed the comics a little bit closer, but then they got all wacky and crazy. But comics, or the cartoons, my God, what did they do to them?
Yeah, and just so nobody's gonna like put our heads on a pike, we want to talk about the movies. We just feel like it deserves its own place. We want to do it justice. So we're trying to constrain here.
Yes.
Yeah, the cartoon. I feel like something happens with the cartoon that happens with like a lot of series that start in comic form, where not only does everything get a little bit more rounded and safer, but they also throw in that like splash of color, like they did with the defining colors of the turtles, with orange and purple and blue being introduced.
Yeah.
A lot of animes do that. I think they color hair differently from the manga.
Oh, that's interesting. So that dumb people can just follow along. They're just like, I get it.
Sure, dumb people, but I mean, like,
no, I'm kidding. Just
it makes sense from a design point. Yeah, like
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the only way Michael Bay can tell the part all of those chunks of metal in his Transformer movie.
I just tell them apart from the regular voices from the racist ones.
Oh yeah, that's the one. I mean, he was also in. Nope, we're not going to talk about the movies. I'm so sorry.
Damn close. Okay. Oh, God, I want to.
I know, me too. Okay, so in the cartoon, let's just start with the theme song. The theme song and the opening is actually it looks like it's going to be more gritty than it is.
Oh, dude, totally.
Wouldn't you agree? If I remember correctly,
bright and flashy and shadowy at the same time. Like it's kind of got like heavy Johnny Quest shadowing going on a lot of the figures, and then that as soon as the episode starts, they lose all that. Yeah, like
crazy Michelangelo walking in with a slice of pizza and it falls on his face, or somebody cuts it in half and he's like, bro, that's not cool.
Yeah.
And it's like it went from the hard rockin' like guitar solos in the theme song to them being like, oh, we're all just a happy family and everything's gonna be okay, and then maybe those jokers in the Technodrome might be crazy, but it'll be all right at the end of the episode.
Do you know any 90s cartoons that were kind of true to their opening credits?
If I remember, Sonic the Hedgehog was oddly dark.
Okay. I was gonna say the goofy one or the goofy one.
The goofy one was absolutely the same in opening and the show. But no, the dark one where they all were like on a post-apocalyptic planet, and they were all like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I feel like
closer at least.
I feel like Thundercats stayed kind of close to it. I mean, the animation wasn't as good, but like it was still kind of actiony.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know, but we're talking about Ninja Turtles. What did we?
We're talking about what the fuck went wrong. Like, well, no, I get it. Like they obviously they took something that was a little edgy. Yeah. And they brought it into a safer format so they could distribute it a lot widely, a lot more wider.
Yeah.
And they did a damn good job. I mean, there's how many seasons of the original cartoon?
Oh, I think it's well it jumps. I don't know. It's like
it could be 2, and they could just be like 1,000 episodes.
Might be 65.
That seemed to be a thing that happened in the 90s.
I do believe it because I was told it. by someone.
by Wikipedia. Thanks, Wikipedia. So
IMDb,
what do you think is the biggest crime against where this thing originally started to the cartoon that they?
I think it's great to make your heroes a little bit more personable. That's great. But when you kind of neuter your bad guys and make them, which a lot of series did in the 90s, where you obviously couldn't have them hold somebody hostage and then be like, oh, you didn't deliver the money on time, we're going to shoot them, and they actually do. So so bad guys really did, for kid shows, really absolutely did have to be pretty goofy, pretty like low stakes, and always incompetent. But I think Shredder specifically was a lot of times like he would be like, oh, or like get kicked in the nards or something like that.
Yeah, you get his cape pulled over his fucking head or something like that. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
You take something in concept that is so badass. You take a ninja that's already cool, and then you cover him in blades, and you call him the Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I think neutering is the best word that you could have used. Mm-hmm. And I feel like his voice was done by the dad on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or something.
It absolutely was. Yeah. James Avery, who we sadly lost about 4 years ago.
Oh, did he fall into the back of a garbage truck?
He got like cut in half in the middle of a portal going back to Dimension X.
Oh shit!
Whoops! Half and half. It's fine.
No, but seriously, that sucks. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he was a great actor. Good man. I hear. I never met the man, but
no.
Yeah. He's and that was a great voice, and
it was a distinct voice for sure. Like I could still hear it in my head.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody who plays Shredder now, I believe it's Kevin Michael Richardson. And if you want to see a great Shredder and just a great voice actor in general, Kevin Michael Richardson is the big bad guy, the monster. Even the silly dude, he actually played Cleveland Jr. on the Cleveland Show.
Wow.
For everybody to know, and he just plays so many other parts.
But was he on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
He was not. I think he was too young for that. And then did they ever turn? I'm probably conflating stuff here, but did they ever turn Shredder into Super Shredder in the cartoon?
Not the original one.
Not the original one. No,
I don't know if any of the later iterations, but dude, Super Shredder was badass.
Dude, he was.
And
so
I
cool.
think it was played by a wrestler. I want to say it was Kevin Nash.
Oh my god!
In the movie, and we're not talking about the movie, but still.
No, we're not.
Kevin Nash. Fucking hilarious.
This is the best way to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Is to talk
Damn
about
it. To dance around it.
Exactly. Well,
speaking of making it way too safe,
yes.
I did live in England for part of my life, and that was an even safer version than the US version, because nunchucks were they would not depict them because they felt like it was such a violent weapon. Even though like there were swords and sais that were sharpened and shit like that.
Sure.
So Michelangelo, his nunchucks were replaced by a grappling hook. He would always have just a grappling. I don't even know like how he would. I guess actually a grappling hook might be a better weapon than a nunchuck in a lot of situations for fighting a bunch of idiot robots.
Shoot him out and then pull him towards you and then punch him. That'd be great, right? It's blowing my mind right now. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I don't get it.
Dude,
I don't get it.
No, neither do I. And as I'm staring at this ridiculous thermos as the poisons are leaching into my drink in my body.
Yummy.
So I'll just describe it to you. So Michelangelo is facing the viewer, I guess, and he's got Shredder tied up with a rope around the waist, and Shredder's just got his arms like up in defeat. Even though he's totally not defeated, and Krang is popping out of the sewer drain. But really, the thing I wanted to talk about was Leonardo has parachuted in from what looks like to be some kind of like detached gadget from the turtle blimp. And it begs the question: where the fuck are the turtles getting all their money to build all of these things? Like the turtle van, fine. You could maybe get that
Just
in
get
a
a
junkyard,
junk. Yeah.
but like the blimp, and I feel like there was a helicopter and a motorcycle and
And ATVs and stuff.
definitely ATVs. I guess
I
we're. I don't know if those were all in the show. I feel like the
no,
blimp
yeah.
was in the show, but
I think
I think
so.
we're crossing over into the toys here. Which
Possibly, which is which is our intention. Which good job with the transition. They'll
was
never
it
notice
seamless?
it. Absolutely.
Good.
No, yeah. Did you have any of those big things?
The biggest thing that I had, and I definitely had some fucking turtle toys,
Yeah.
was the tank. And the tank was pretty
Okay.
cool. Also, a ridiculous thing that there's no way that these guys would be able to just acquire from living in the poopy sewers. But
And
yeah,
where did they store them?
I don't know. Apparently, the sewers are way bigger than we think that they are.
And have launch points.
Yeah, many. But the tank was cool because it had kind of like that a motorized like launcher to it. So you'd stack these little plastic like 2-inch discs in the like the little loader part, and it would fire them out and at a pretty good distance.
Oh, weren't they supposed to be pizzas?
They were pizzas, yes.
Okay,
And I
of
feel
course,
like
yeah.
only like one of them was an ice cream pizza. I don't know why one was special, but
Because Michelangelo ordered it special, and they love it. They love special orders. They don't upset us.
totally. What about you, the king
Oh,
of toys and
king of
collectibles?
toys.
What
Yes,
did you
indeed.
have as far as Ninja Turtles go? Because their toy line was epic. I mean,
It was
even
epic,
even
and it
in
was-
the '90s version, like there was so many freaking toys. There shouldn't
Yeah.
have been that
No.
many toys.
Well, and they did these weird things, just like with the with Batman toys forever. They've always made these outfits that he never uses and would never use because they're so impractical. But they're
Like
fun.
the Bat submarine suit,
The ice bat
ice,
suit.
yeah, ice fighting,
Ice baby.
yeah.
Ice Batty. But just like that, they would have so many different types. Like there was one series where I think each one there was a spaceman and a cowboy. It was like they were trying to do the Village People.
Are we talking about Batman or?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Turtles.
This was back to the Turtles. Where one guy was in a samurai suit. One of them was a cowboy. One of them was a they were all of these weird outfits, and then everybody would be, I don't know, a surfer, or everybody would be in relaxing clothes, or everybody had trench coats.
Yeah,
on.
I
was
remember
like, oh
there
my
was
God.
definitely like a beach bum series. Like
Yeah.
I don't know who was behind the marketing of this, but like we definitely bought it. Like good on
Oh,
you. Fucking
Yeah,
take advantage
hook, line,
of
and
us.
sinker.
Where was any competing toy line or cartoon at that time? I don't know.
I mean, I really can't think of. I mean,
G.I.
it was
Joe?
pretty dominating, though.
Yeah.
and I think it was because it was safer than GI Joe. I don't, not.
Was it?
Yeah, right. But I think that the fact that it was military made GI Joe a little bit to like new agey people and different stuff. They might see it as a bit more dangerous than four big turtles.
Oh, can we
thing.
just talk about April O'Neil for a second?
Oh, please, yeah. She's like the fifth turtle.
No.
Although there was a fifth turtle.
Yeah, we're
And
not.
it was a female.
We're not talking
We're
about
not.
that. No,
Sorry.
No live action.
No.
No. Just as cartoons go, and I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, this is something that has changed over the last whatever. Oh God, has it been 25 years?
It's like, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, it's actually
just-
been 30 since the show started.
But just definitely April O'Neil, super over sexualized damsel in distress. I would definitely put her, like, if I'm thinking back to childhood over sexualized cartoons, Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles definitely like checks that box in like the top
Well,
10.
I mean, they had her in that weird yellow jumper with it unzipped pretty far down for no good reason. She was a reporter.
Did she have cleavage?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
She
All right.
absolutely did. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
kinda
I don't
looking
know
this
if
up
it was.
right now.
I don't know if it was very exposed in the show, but I remember the toy was weirdly positioned to show a little. She came with the coolest thing ever. It was
know what I'm saying?
Her toy came with a microphone, of course, to interview somebody, and then a camera. But the camera, the could be pulled off, and the handle of the camera was a gun.
Holy shit!
Oh
really?
yeah, which she never used in the cartoons. But apparently she was ready to go. Like if anybody had ever stopped her in an alleyway, which they constantly did, she could have taken those guys out. But I don't think they were gonna.
Sure.
They weren't gonna go for that.
Also, what's it gonna take for April O'Neil to get into the newsroom? Why? I don't understand how she was on the street covering such like crazy shit for so
Constantly
long that she
on
wasn't
location.
Like, how did she not get a promotion? I guess it's that like 90s glass ceiling.
Yeah, they're like, no, just keep her in the field. She's doing great. People love her on camera until she turns 50, and then we throw her out because there's hotter, younger people, which is completely unfair and ageist. Yeah.
Totally.
Also, she also had maybe she didn't have this in the toy, but I remember them making the communicator, the turtle communicator.
Oh, yeah, the turtle com.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking turtle com. The turtle com was amazing.
It was yeah.
Did you have the toy of the turtle com?
I believe I did. Yeah. Where you could.
It made the most obnoxious noise. Yeah. It was like. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll insert the actual sound effects.
Please do. I'm sure my dad has it. Go visit him. I still have all of my toys, actually, and one of the biggest ones that I had was the sewer. I had the sewer playset.
Oh,
it was
really?
awesome, and I also had the van, the turtle van.
Oh, I had the van too. And the greatest thing about the van was the suicide door.
Oh my god, right?
It was on there, and I called it the suicide door because as soon as you would launch it, instead of just opening, it would break
it snapped off immediately.
And that turtle, whoever's on there, like, it was just too much weight, and he's definitely dead.
Yeah.
If you're driving over 35 miles an hour.
Well, the coolest story I ever had with toys is my dad saw that happened, and then he sat down with me and he pointed it out. I was like 6 or 7 when I had that, and he said, "Okay, now look at this. Why was this?" And we looked into all of the why was this weak, and we looked into the design of it, and he actually fixed it for me with with glue and plastic cement and stuff like that, and that actually got me into wanting to be a toy designer. It was so cool, and then I didn't.
How did that work?
I'm not good at math, so or art. I'm not great at drawing.
What are you good at?
Talking. I mean, and not even great at that. You hear me stumble over things. I'm
yes, I know. I edit this
exactly. That's why I just do voiceover where they've already written my scripts for me, and I can just do that. I'm good at reading. At reading. There you go.
There you go. All right. So we found it. All right. Well, thank you for listening to our podcast on reading.
If you are illiterate, please get help. There is absolutely resources out there. So toys.
Are people who can only read Braille illiterate?
No, I think they're actually very literate. Because that's a form of reading, right? Writing, reading, roting.
I don't know. How do you define reading? I don't know. We're probably just going to add that part out. Terribly insensitive. Thanks, Spirit.
Sensitive and always. You know what? I actually heard somebody had filled their, and this is probably a rumor and a lie because children are liars. They had filled their blimp, their turtle blimp, with helium so that it could raise up and they would weight it down. And
dude, I don't believe that.
Not at all. But
the amount of like plastic that was sitting on the undercarriage of that because it was essentially like a helicopter, right? That was like on the bottom of it.
Basically.
I feel like that
or
could
a glider
detach.
Or something. Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't it drop bombs? It had like smoke bombs or something?
I don't know if they were real smoke bombs.
I know. I feel like the commercials for the Ninja Turtle toys were super unfair because I feel like they
advertising.
Definitely,
yes.
They false advertise a lot of different features. It wasn't like the Batman toys where just like the Batmobile would drive through a shitload of those like
Little
little shot
block.
glasses for
Yes.
medicine. You know what I'm talking about? I the one thing I do remember about the
Yes.
toys is the amount of detail. Like there wasn't a whole lot of articulation to the
No.
toys, although it might have been the most articulate figure that I had as far as like joints and
Right.
whatnot. But like even take a shitty toy, and they made a lot of like really shitty character toys, like the Rat King.
Oh,
But like
Rat
if
King.
you look at like just the mold that the Rat King was like
Hmm.
made in, that he has so much detail
Yeah. The
going on in the non-articulate pieces like rats, and like there's ropes and like crazy bullshit happening that you never even think that would be on him.
there was a character, and he was made out of. I want to call him Garbage Man, but that seems too simplistic for the insane
I think
characters.
I know who you're talking about.
He
Yeah.
was Muckman, and he was
Is that
yes,
really
he
his
was
name?
Muckman, and he was the most articulate thing I'd ever seen. He had all these weird not braille, but he had all of these things. He had a manhole cover stuck to his foot. He had a
Yes.
nose clip on his nose because he smelled so bad that he couldn't stand it. He had barnacles all over himself, and he had this cap on his head that you could take off, and it was essentially just a banana peel. But you could take off his head and pour ooze into him, and it would come out his his mouth and a hole in the middle of him. It was the most detailed figure I remember for a long time, and that was bizarre.
I
to
feel
me.
like he was the most common Ninja Turtle toy. Like obviously you had some semblance of the turtles and whatever
Of
outfits,
course.
but I feel like everybody had that one
Right.
because I definitely
Absolutely.
had him. Like almost like he was sold cheaper.
Oh,
than
I
the
am
other ones.
absolutely sure of that.
He was the Pidgey equivalent of Ninja Turtle toys. So
Rattata.
you just have
Yeah,
too many.
you just want to
Yeah,
get rid of
the
him.
Rattata.
I think my favorite was Baxter Stockman. Was fascinating.
Awesome.
He was
Yeah.
basically Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. You know,
Pretty much. Yeah.
and
He was pretty.
you know what
disgusting.
I always wanted was the big Krang. I had the little Krang that was just Krang with a little walker that was 2 feet, and he just walked along and whatever. But I wanted the big human suit that Krang had. My God.
The big human suit was so angry looking too. It had like sharp teeth and everything. It was
and it looked and it wasn't even designed as the most fit human being. It was
no, yeah,
fatty.
that was the best part. That was the best part of Krang is that like his perfect form with his body. It's just a dumpy dude with no neck whatsoever and red underwear and oven mitts. I never had his robot body, but I had Krang in his like chicken walker chair.
That's the one. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I actually I got to meet and take a class from the guy who did the voice of Krang, and he will bust it out anytime he's asked because it is like inward breathing. You know that bit from
Inward singing.
Yeah, inward singing. Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah, it's like reverse talking.
I just hurt myself trying.
Even the voice actor can't do it.
No, that's exactly. He said he almost invented this type of creepy talking, and I was like, well, nobody else wants to try it. I get it.
It's like, well, that must work really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
good on you. Good on you. But he's a good guy, Pat Fraley. It was. I mean, the guys were made out of mutagenic turtles exposed to children or teenagers.
No. Oh yeah. I guess that's true. Well, yeah, they started out as turtles. Yeah. That I guess came in contact with a child, but not before the mutagen was on them. So I don't know how that works.
But yeah, they just had like remnants of the child, and then
I guess it's like the strong like
influence
children germs, like when they're they're just like fucking germ factories. They just like the turtles were sick with child flu, and that's what happened.
And also the weirdest. I mean, then you look at not Shredder, Splinter, and he was. Was he the rat or was he the human first?
He was a human first.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
and
know. The mutagen is fucked up. It's I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not
it's a mixed
yeah.
bag.
It's
Not
chaos.
like it's not like the Guyver. Did you ever see the
Oh
Guyver
yes,
with Mark
yeah,
Hamill?
yeah.
Where you don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe you get turned into a fucking snail cricket, or maybe you get turned into the Guyver. I don't know. Like it's a mixed bag. Sometimes you get screwed on it.
It's like not knowing how to cast a spell. You know, you just
Yeah.
don't know what's possible. Yeah, it's
Freaking Hogwarts.
and then their bad guys are this ninja that makes sense, and a Foot Clan, which in the comic books or in the cartoon were robots.
They're people,
No,
right?
they were robots.
Wait, in the
No,
comic?
in the comic they were people. Yes.
Yeah, and the turtles were killing them, right?
Absolutely. And then in the cartoon, to make it easier, to make them be able to dispatch, yes, is to is make them into robots, which is much easier on the violence, which makes a lot of sense.
And you know what? I appreciate
I do too.
that Leonardo is still able to use his swords to like chop
Exactly.
through robots. Although I don't remember him doing that. I don't remember.
I think that their arms and legs may be busted off, but very rarely. I think they just knocked him out sometimes. But
knocked
knocked out the robots. You just hit the off button.
Yeah, you turn off the router.
How did they control him? Anyway, and then this guy from a different dimension comes in, of course, because we gotta
Dimension X. I don't know like what this guy's deal is. But.
He's just so angry. I don't even know. He's just like, I gotta take over Earth. I don't know. Sure, why not, dude? And then they team up. They get a couple other henchmen, Bebop and Rocksteady, and they have the
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Dude,
let's talk about them for a second because they're the most '90s anything possible. Let's get a fucking pig with a mohawk and
like 3D glasses.
These cool ass shades. Yeah.
And
I guess. Wait, which one is Bebop? Bebop is the pig? Right?
Yes. Yeah, I want a Bebop.
Right, yeah. So Rocksteady's not as cool, but Bebop is.
He's the greatest. Sure. Yeah, exactly. And
Bebop for president.
They were sort of like low level Foot Clan, or they were just nerds that were like, oh, we don't like people, we're gonna beat people up. And then Shredder was like, hey, you want to?
He's like, hey, want to be a pig? And he's like, fuck yeah, I've always wanted to be.
You want me to experiment on you? This is gonna be great. Not the brightest in the box, and they were they had been altered in their state.
Yeah. How do you think you spell boss?
What? Boss.
Boss.
Bowass. Boss.
It's like
BW, yeah.
WOSESSE. Boss.
Did you have all four guys? All four of the Teenage Mutants?
I feel like between my brother and I think that we had all four, and then we lost all their belts.
Oh yeah,
and the belts that would come off. The belts were
rubber.
Great. Yeah, they're rubber, and they were really fucking hard to get on.
Oh yeah,
and you would definitely lose them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we had all four, and then we had like just a ton of like the variations and just, like the crappy bad guys.
What do you think?
Yeah, we could go on and on.
We absolutely
and
could.
have.
Should we take a break?
We should probably. Yeah, let's break it right here.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Break it down.
Listen to the Ninja Rap for a little bit, and then we'll be right back. All right.
Check it.
Your hairy little friend knows me as Oroku Saki. But you may call me the Shredder.
A kitchen utensil?
Radical, tubular. We are
bodacious.
Bodacious.
Yeah. Cowabunga, dude.
Well, holy crap.
God.
There's too much. So this is definitely an episode that we underestimated.
It's quite
going into this.
Quite daunting research process.
Yeah, I can't believe that we had originally intended to do Ninja Turtles as a whole. And then at the last minute, we had dropped off the movie part. And then we didn't even get to the video game. So those are both going to have to be dedicated episodes just to do them justice.
I think that's fair. I think that's good. Yeah. I would like to focus on the movies. I loved. I think I only played the video game with you or in arcades.
Yes,
because I did not have it. I'm pretty sure
that's the right way it's supposed to be played.
Hell yeah! Woo! So how do we tackle this behemoth, man?
Well, I think there was only one way in the amount of time that we had, and that was to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
You had done more research on like the toys. I had done some research on the cartoons, and I think we both did some on kind of the origins.
Yeah, just a little bit of cursory stuff on where it started, which was the comics.
Yeah,
and I didn't have access to them. You said you didn't, right?
No, it's. I mean, I didn't have access to a whole lot. I'm lucky I had even the toys of the cartoon.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, the comic was lesser known, I think, back then to our age group. And my mom sure as hell wouldn't have let me read that.
No, it definitely is. Like in the first episode, in the first issue, they kill some Foot Clan members and some baseball capped fellows.
Oh yeah,
They slice them up.
They are definitely. Well, I mean, I don't know, definitely, but they're definitely more ninja-like than the cartoons.
Absolutely. Do you when it started in '84, didn't it?
Yeah, 84 had a very long run, like something like 26 years over 4 very lengthy volumes.
And that started with Mirage Comics. And more recently, it's been switched over
Dark
to
Horse or Image?
IDW, actually.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
It was only originally intended to be kind of a one-shot.
Huh.
And the fandom kept growing and more demand, and they just kept it going for as long as like The Simpsons has been around.
I mean, really, who would have thought that Mutant Turtles would make any sense, or that people would jump onto that in a cult following? If not, I mean, it became one of the most popular franchises in the 90s, I would say.
Yeah, way too popular. And I think a lot of that stems from the creators. I know that there was a lot of inspiration with Frank Miller and Jack Kirby.
Because it's dark and it's black and white.
Yeah, very, very heavy-handed, very stylized, almost unpalatable to, I think, a lot of people that have only known the cartoons or the movies.
Because
it's definitely
like
had a dynamic
sketches.
style. Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, they're rough, and there's definitely an evolution as it goes on.
Of course,
which is always great to see.
So the difference, I think, between the comics and where it diverges, the comics and the cartoons, is sort of where it all starts at.
It's the moment that the cartoon went into production.
Oh yes, that does make sense. But it also is from the beginning of Splinter. The differences between the origins of Splinter and Shredder.
Yeah,
and we've got in the comics, Splinter is actually the pet rat of Hamato Yoshi, and he learns ninjutsu by. I can't not think of the movie.
That's primarily why I'll never take like my dog to the gun range. I don't want her learning how to use a gun.
That's very smart, very preventative of you. But he like mimics the thing, and then he witnesses the death of his master at the hands of Orusaki, or Shredder.
Rokusaki.
I'm wrong. Yep. I was so proud of my
sorry, dude.
pronunciation, but it was my
oral sake is something else.
My mouse was over the K. It's a rat, actually. It's a mouse rat. Hamato Yoshi and his wife or girlfriend or whoever it is take the rat, and they all go to New York, and that's why Splinter is in New York. And Shredder has taken over New York as sort of like the triads I guess, and he finds Hamato Yoshi and kills him, and the pet rat's released, and then the pet rat is involved in an accident that is...
Dude, a pet rat scratches up his face.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why he's got to wear the mask.
Exactly. But then he's involved in the whole mutagen accident that hits him and little pet turtles, and they all go down. And I think he's intending on eating the turtles as a rat would. Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure he was.
No, he gathered them up because he saw they were lost, and he named them even before they got mutated.
Well, and we'll talk about the names later, definitely. But okay, maybe he wasn't gonna eat them. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree. But in the animated film in the show, Splinter was Hamato Yoshi himself, and he was mutated when he was exposed to the mutagenic ooze, because he was already living in the sewers. And the reason why he was banished from the Foot Clan and everything was actually, I just watched the beginning of the very first episode today, was that Shredder, I'm not going to try to say his actual name, he like stabs a small knife into
his brother, I think, right?
Into his shirt. Oh. And so when their master comes in, Hamato Yoshi can't bow because his shirt is like attached to the wall, and then he reaches back to free himself, and he has a knife in his hand then, and they're like, "You intended to shoot? Nope, I'm not going to do it. You intended to kill the master," and he gets banished, and he goes to live in New York in the sewers.
I mean, Rokusaki, what a prankster you
are! Tricked ya. So that's mainly one of the biggest beginning, the origin differences, I would say.
Well, I'd say it's still on the same level. Killing your master, doing a wacky stunt that gets you kicked out of your club. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see the reason for the blood feud there.
Oh yeah. They're not happy with each other.
No.
Mm-mm.
So. Tell me about how things get to like crazy. Like that's the origin. But like where's Krang in the Technodrome? How does that fit into the comics? He's a brain.
He is a brain. I actually don't know where he came in, what time period he came into the comic books, but they did deal with Dimension X and with some crazy issues.
Dude, there's a lot of crazy things that happen.
Yes,
in the comic series. April O'Neil, for instance, and another stark difference from the cartoon, and some of the, well, I guess not really some of the movies, but which we're not talking about.
No, we're not.
No,
that'll be later. Don't you worry.
But April O'Neil, the original concept of her, she was a lab assistant to Baxter Stockman.
Oh, that ties in well.
Yeah. She wasn't a reporter at all from what I found.
Huh.
But she does meet the Turtles. They save her. She has a romantic relationship with Casey Jones. But then, and I don't know how far into the 26 years of Ninja Turtles this happened, but eventually Baxter Stockman comes back as like a robot. They defeat him, and they keep his robot body, which I guess infects April O'Neil with like nanobots.
What?
Yeah, so I guess that was a whole thing. Aliens come and help her out with that. They clear her of the nanobots, but then she finds out that she's not real. And
wait, not real as like what?
Yeah, she is. She's fictitious, so like super meta. Yeah, her father, who was not able to have a child of his own, wanted one, created her with something called the Kirby Crystal, which was most likely a call out or a shout out to
Jack Kirby.
To Jack Kirby,
oh
yeah.
My God.
But then he ends up having a daughter anyway. So she has a sister that she finds out about later, named Robin O'Neil. That kind of messes with her. and she like has to like find herself, goes on her own crusade, leaves Casey Jones and their like adopted daughter, and like becomes a vigilante.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What? That's
Yeah.
insane.
She has like a very non-channel news
Channel 6
channel 6 news
happy hour
arc.
Yeah,
happy hour.
I don't know, the happy news something or other.
I was pretty happy actually to find out that
Interesting.
even like back in the 80s there was still like this sense of like I don't know, a good, strong female character rather than just like the April O'Neil that we have known.
Right, the one that is sort of just she's strong to a point, and then she is turned into the ingenue, not the ingenue, the damsel in distress.
Yes, that's absolutely what she was.
And also, I want to make this caveat that we may be conflating any of the comics that we may be talking about, because there are also Archie comics that were part of the canon, which is actually where Krang came from.
Krang came from the Archie comics?
I believe. Well, not the
what?
TMNT Archie comics. Yeah, for some reason they're all over the place. But yeah.
Okay. That's stupid.
You can
that's crazy. No, we're keeping that in.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about the actual turtles themselves.
Some weird shit, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So the turtles. They are they're named Leonardo DiCaprio. Nope. Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael. Why are they named that, sir?
Splinter, as he was gathering them up not to eat them,
Yes.
named them after the great European artistic masters. And yeah, I had this thought.
Was this a smart rat? Was this a smart rat before he hit the mutagen?
Yes,
okay.
Actually, I have heard that noted that even like before the mutagen and all that, his master considered him to be a very intelligent rat.
Interesting. Okay, okay, gotcha. So he was ahead of the curve already. So he had already studied. He had gotten his arts degree. Good. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, there's there's some. I don't know if you call it backlash, but there's some theories online that maybe the Ninja Turtles were kind of named incorrectly, just for how their characters develop.
Mm-hmm.
Donatello maybe should have been named Leonardo, just because Leonardo da Vinci was an engineer, he was an inventor.
Mm-hmm.
Raphael, the artist, was more of a ladies' man,
a partier type of guy.
He would definitely attend a lot of parties. The paintings that he would put together were composed of multiple women. It was like he was painting his ideal woman of like women that he knew and would fraternize with.
So a little polyamorous.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
sure. Well, he was definitely a party dude. So maybe Michelangelo should have been Raphael.
That makes sense.
Also, I've always found the artist Donatello to be kind of like strange to be thrown in that mix with Michelangelo and Leonardo and Raphael, just because he's a little bit lesser known.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of that Donatello has done was a sculpture of David and Goliath, where David is a little kid. A little naked kid with kind of like a Three Musketeers hat on, and like he's doing like the Captain Morgan pose. On the head of like a giant just decapitated head. Like it's graphic and startling and inappropriate at the same time. It's still art, and it is a beautiful sculpture.
Well, and it's sad because he was considered. I mean, I guess you don't always remember the people who start movements, but he was one of the leaders of the Italian Renaissance movement.
Yep.
But
never forget MySpace.
And finally, with Raphael actually should have been Michelangelo. That's what I've heard. He was a sculptor, and he was Michelangelo, that is, was constantly depressed and moody and spent most of his time alone. Sound like anyone, Raph? Huh? So,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
That's
he also made himself blind.
Aw, he did?
Yeah, painting the Sistine Chapel. And
did he drip too much paint in his eyes?
Yeah, and there was definitely like poisonous shit in there, like lead. That, and he also liked to study sunspots.
What?
Yeah, spots on the sun. So like through like a telescope and shit.
Well, that was dumb of him.
Which is crazy because I always consider Michelangelo to be the most talented of like if we're to group those four masters together artistically, he's my favorite.
Well, you studied art. I did not.
It's true.
I would say that
I should be a turtle.
I think Da Vinci was pretty cool, but I'm into gadgets and shit. Like I said, with Donatello being my favorite. So there you go.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
So let's also just while we're talking about the turtles, just talk about like some very stark differences between the comics and the cartoon.
Okie doke.
I guess the things that we're not talking about.
Movies.
No. Yeah. So we already talked about it being pretty violent.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that even the main characters themselves suffer maimings.
Maimings.
Okay, maimings, and even casualties that we mentioned in the first part, where Donatello actually dies.
He does die. I don't know which series that is. I believe it's the IDW more recent one, but yeah. I mean, they weren't afraid to go there. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, but they do bring him back as a cyborg.
Yay!
There's also like other crazy things that happen, like. Raph poses as the Shredder for a while, and he leads the Foot Clan.
Whoa, that's
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Wow,
yeah, very double dragon of him.
Very much so. What a jerk, kind of. Yeah. I mean, does he lead them against the turtles?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably.
Dude, we did not have enough time to look that.
No, of course not.
Let's say yes.
Yeah, he totally did, and it was.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Email in, please. Going back, I always liked Baxter Stockman.
Yes.
And he was a integral part of that, much more than in the show, because in the show he gets turned into a fly and he comes back every once in a while,
which in its own sense is great.
It's fantastic. He's Jeff Goldbluming it up. He's great. But no, it's there's fascinating developments in this comic book series. I really would love to go back and read it all the way through. I don't have that much free time to read 26 years of comic books, but
I do.
I'm gosh darn gonna try.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the cartoon really quick. I know we've already talked about it in the first half, but as part of our re-experience, we did watch a couple episodes here.
Absolutely. I watched one called Attack of the Neutrinos, and the Neutrinos were actually some teenagers who drove flashy hover cars that were definitely ripoffs of teenagers in the 60s. You know, they definitely should have been.
Were they slick back hair and did they rumble in the streets?
Slick back hair,
snapping their fingers and do a dance number.
Always calling everybody. They changed it, but they were like, "Oh, that guy's a real cube, man." You know, because cube is something that people in a different dimension would think square meant. It was fantastic. And they got turned evil. They were allies of the
Neutrinos?
They in this one, Krang captured him, or General Trag, who was one of Krang's generals in Dimension X, which, I don't know, man, this whole world got very, very confusing when they started when he got access back to Dimension X, where that was always what he wanted to do. He wanted to get back there, but he also wanted to take over Earth.
I don't think he did.
Didn't he? I mean, I don't know. I think at one point he got like exiled from there, and then he was trying to get back. I don't know.
In the later, I don't know what canon we're pulling from. Let's say the comic is canon.
Sure.
But the cartoon stands kind of alone. Like it really is its own separate thing.
They went off in a lot of different directions from there. Absolutely.
Either way, I know at least in the fourth season,
yeah,
the Technodrome is in Dimension X. Like that's kind of like where they live.
Well, no, I mean it moved around from place to place. They would go from under in the center of the Earth to where was it? Underwater. They definitely had underwater. They were in Dimension X. They were also in the Arctic at one time.
Sure.
I think, yeah, it bounced around. It was mainly, I think on their end, they were always looking for a way to bring the Technodrome to a major city and destroy it. Somehow power it. Right? I mean, that was always their gameplay.
Yeah, it's like he had a phone that was 2 years old, and like, it could not hold a charge. Like it's great, it's got a good camera on it, but it just does not hold a charge.
It's a big eye.
I wish they'd shown more of Dimension X because I remember and all I saw in rediscovering this was just that it's red. That's all.
It was
but
red.
Apparently,
and
everybody is made of shit. Like there's just
right.
a bunch of like General Trag and all of his like shit. Foot soldiers and
just big rocks.
I don't understand Krang being from Dimension X. He doesn't seem like he fits in that world. He's soft and loby.
I mean, maybe he was ripped out of one of the heads of the little dudes. I mean, I always thought he was a brain.
Isn't he?
No, he's a thing. Apparently, in the later cartoons, which we did, being honest, we did not look into any of those, but apparently he's part of a species called Krangs. And
I'm sorry, this is movie canon?
No, this is cartoon canon.
Cartoon canon.
Yeah,
okay.
but the further cartoon canon, and there are 2 A's instead of 1 A, and it's not just one Krang, it's many Krangs, and I don't get it, man.
Is it Krangs or Krang?
Krang.
Oh no! What's the plural?
Krangs.
It's not Krang.
Krangy. Perhaps, I don't know. Anyway,
Krangen.
we are not talking about them because it gets too complicated.
Fine.
I remember actually when I was a kid. I know this is not the memory part, but we would go into this place where you could see Santa, and Krang was there like a puppet Krang with a hat. With a Santa hat on, and it was a puppet, but it was robotic as well. And you would say your name, and then it would talk back to you, and it was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
Was it a toy or what?
No, it was like a 3 or 4 foot tall Krang head,
shit.
And you walked in, and they had asked your name before you went in, so that it could be like, oh, Krang knows your name. And it was horrifying because that's the one person you don't want to know your name. He's coming for us.
Gross.
Yeah. Very weird. Dimension X was bizarre. Which episode did you happen to watch?
I watched a Dimension X episode.
They got more and more common as the years went on.
Yeah, they're just honestly, and I think the writing maybe fell off a little bit, or let's just say it just kind of gave way to the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I watched an episode called Slash, the Mutant Turtle from Dimension X.
Hey,
so there's things that I think could have been really awesome. Like it's basically the episode is I guess there's two stories happening.
Mm-hmm.
One, some asshole is trying to like destroy the sewers so he can put up condos, which makes no sense whatsoever. And Bebop and Rocksteady don't want to do chores around the Technodrome, and Shredder and Krang are acting like a married couple the whole time.
Naturally,
like Shredder catches Bebop and Rocksteady fucking off, and he's like, I see what you're doing, Krang, get in here. And like he's calling his wife in there.
Yeah.
But Bebop has a pet turtle, which I think that's great on its own. But immediately, as soon as they're like, oh, well, you have a pet turtle, they throw mutagen on it and they try to make it do chores for them. Um, and the turtle is basically like, oh god, we're not supposed to talk about it. He's kind of like a snapping turtle you may have seen in like a live action something.
Oh,
But because he's kind of dumb and he's childish.
yeah.
But yeah, just watching the episode, there's the writing definitely didn't have like a QA process to it where like there's things that definitely happen like the Slash is after like his binky, which is a palm tree, and people just know what that is. Like this asshole is destroying the sewers. Like, oh yeah, I'll get you a bunch of palm trees without him like explaining like what his binky actually is. Also, the turtles call April at one point. They're just like, "Hey, I know what this asshole is doing. We have evidence on him." Without any like explanation, it's like, well, we're at this part of the episode and we've only got 22 minutes, so like, yeah, we got evidence.
We definitely cut out some stuff.
Yeah, we just cut to close.
Or they're
now the fighting part.
Or they're better investigative journalists than she is. Possibly.
Yeah, she sucks because like she saw Slash and she's like, "Oh, what's up, turtle that I know?" And like I don't think even identified like which turtle it was. And,
she's turtle racist.
Slash attacks her and destroys her van.
Damn.
And then later she sees the real turtles. She's just like, "What the fuck, guys? Like you destroyed my van." It's like you are not observant at all.
Or she's turtle
the worst.
racist, like I said.
Wow. All right.
You're all green to me. What was so? Yeah, the writing was pretty paint by numbers, pretty, set them up, knock them down. Not a bunch of. Oh, in my thing, there was a subgroup of bad guys who were like mole people.
Were they like no more mutants?
No, they were mole people, and they had they didn't like the turtles, but they had like a sonic gun, and they were like, oh, the only way we can get the neutrinos back is to steal that sonic gun from the mole people that we defeated at the beginning of this episode, and it was all just so convoluted.
You know what? My episode felt like that too. It's like there was one writer in a room and he just wrote it once all the way through, and nobody ever reread it. They're just like, and it's a script, go.
And they were all on cocaine when they were writing these scripts.
So much cocaine. They also refer to turtles as reptiles a lot.
Oh yeah, well and all of the jokes were reptile insults, sewer insults, just. I don't know. It was very niche what they were going for. What about the pizza, man? Every single episode has a reference to pizza, obviously.
And the way that they animate pizza, like especially when they're eating it, I'm surprised that I even like pizza now because it looks disgusting.
It looks like it's made of nacho cheese and nothing else.
Yeah. It's so drippy and just like all over the fucking place. Like I've never been to New York before,
right?
So I don't know how they make pizza over there. But if it's anything like that, that's awful.
Well,
stop doing that.
And the fact, I mean, they must be tipping these guys a lot to get these pizzas because they get the most disgusting, or they're making them themselves, but they're making the most disgusting topping pizzas ever. I think there's anchovy and ice cream at one point, or peanut butter and jelly, and just all of these things. These people, all 4 of the turtles must be pregnant because they are having real weird cravings, yo.
That's an interesting theory. All right, I think we have just enough time to go through the toys.
Oh my
quickly.
God. Yeah,
there's only a few toys, so it shouldn't take long.
It's perfect. It'll be okay. So, like I said, with the insults, everything was sewer themed in the toys too, and also in the titling of everything. They were just super not fans of the suffix ing. They would drop the G, and it was like mutatin' and rockin', and everything was just too goddamn hip.
Yeah.
So they started out, they had the 4 turtles, they had Splinter, they had April, the Foot Clan, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady. That was pretty much the basic characters. Then they added on later with like Casey Jones, Yosagi Yojimbo. We've talked about General Trag. But then they started getting into some weird stuff. We talked at the beginning about Muckman and Mutagen Man and what was Fugitoid, just like there was a Triceratops that was an alien, I guess. It just kept going on. But what I really want to get into is the variations on the four turtles.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember these?
The oddities and the pushing the limits of a franchise to its breaking point, for sure.
And all of these cross promotion weird things. So one of I actually wish I had these still. There were 2 series of these of the Universal monsters, the Universal Studio monsters. They were vampire, Frankenstein, werewolf, a werewolf of a turtle.
How do you do a werewolf turtle?
He was furry. He was like molded furry. Really? And then a mummy. But then later on, they had other ones like the mutant, who was like an alien with big brain head. I can't remember who he was. But then April was Bride of Frankenstein, of course. Then they had like sewer heroes. Sorry. They had Star Trek guys, Bodacious Birthday, where they dressed up as people who would be at a birthday, like a clown and a magician. There was
awful
music genres,
awful
sports, beach day. There were the trolls. Do you remember the trolls?
No, but I did see them in the research. And that I think is the epitome of like the pushing a franchise to its breaking point. I personally, I had a cereal bowl.
Yeah.
My brother had a different cereal bowl. We had thermoses, cups. God, what was probably the strangest thing that we had? I mean, probably the strangest thing we had was the mask and the nose that we would wear while eating.
Of course. I actually dressed up as my mom sewed me a turtle shell. Basically made a pillow for my back and then dressed me up as I went as Donatello, of course, my favorite. They had Smash 'em Bash 'em, which were basically Rock'em Sock'em robots, but for the turtles. They had Transforming, or the Mutating line, like I said. They had a Mutaforce, which was, I think you would have loved these. They were exoskeleton guys.
Yeah, I love me a mech.
Oh, hell yeah.
I also love like the samurai mech armor ones. They're very like Ronin Warrior-esque.
Right? And then they had these weird they had not only the mutating line, which they transformed from their human version or their turtle version to their mutated version, but then they also had transforming characters, like Splinter turned into a race car, or I don't know. They had the drill.
Extreme.
It was Shredder turning into the drill tank that they had. Then they had
wait. How is he not a shredder?
No.
Or even like a wood chipper. How are you not that?
I guess they just wanted to tie in the vehicles in the thing. I don't know, man. But then there's like the adventurers, their deep sea jungle Arctic hikers, you know. Then there was something that looked like it was from D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons type of
the Lord of the Rings like
troll
edition
dude.
Yeah.
And my axe and my bow staff. Then they even had a space turtle, Apollo 11 25th anniversary edition, man, where they were all just in spacesuits.
They also came out with a Challenger edition, which was just a bag of dust.
Oh, that's too soon, man. There were 2 series of these that I want to get to that were that stood out to me. There was one that was the Wacky Wild West, and one of them looks like who had the raccoon hat?
Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett, thank you. There was Davy Crockett, then there was definitely the cowboy from the Village People. I wish you could all see these things, but look them up. They're fantastic. But then there were 2 that were just real bad. And do you remember the cards that they were all on? They had like summaries of their abilities and all this stuff.
You mean from the back of the
weapons?
box?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there were two. There were Chief Leo, which was clearly a Native American, and then Bandito Bashin' Mike, who was a stereotypical guy with a sombrero and a mustache and sort of bandoliers across his thing. And it went, "Hey, hombre, welcome to the Wild West world of Bandito Bashin' Mike. He's the meanest mutant to ever have refried pizza." Gross.
I would try refried pizza.
It'd be interesting.
Did you ever have the ones that had like the ripcord that would talk? Really, really shitty.
Dude, yes. Oh my God, I completely forgot about those. How did I do all this research and not see those guys? That was horrifying.
I want to know what that technology is called. Just ripcord talking. I mean, it's pretty much like vinyl technology.
I was gonna say it's definitely like a. Or you know what it is? It's
and if you play with it too much, it just makes a record scratching noise.
It's kind of like a music box, right? I suppose.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Music box technology. All right, yes. So those were a little offensive. Like he had an old jalapeno knife. Yeah. And then the Chief Leo claimed he was not Cherokee or Apache. This mutant maverick is in a tribe all by himself. And then watch.
How many beads did he come with?
Watch the pale-face foot run for cover when Chief Leo pulls his fiery arrows from his quasi-quiver.
That's not even like close to being accurate.
Exactly. So that was slightly, I mean, not even offensive for the time because they were still, still very tone deaf to that stuff. One of the weirdest ones that I found were the mutant military, and they had a couple of series of these, and one of them was clearly he looked like a Civil War guy, but he was wearing blue, so he was clearly for the North. But in his back, it said something about this rebel. When this rebel and courage. With courage comes forward. I was like,
I feel like they wrote their toys like they wrote their scripts for the show. They're just like, and a Leonardo that is a Civil War reenactor, and he's also got like a rat that kind of is on his shoulder, and also he's kind of a rebel. And that goes to production, and nobody even like fucking questions.
Nobody edits it. No, this was clearly one person sitting in a basement, just being like, "Oh my God, this is so funny." So let the drum and fife play loud and play proud. Yankee Doodle Raff can't be stopped because he marches over all borders with good on his side. Like, it's so, it blows my mind. But here's the thing about the mutant military thing. The toys came out in 91. Do you know when Desert Storm was?
91?
It was 91. Oh. It was 90 to 91, and it was the physical war, the battle itself was like 5 days long, but it was like an event. But it was really weird how much they pushed these guys. There was Lieutenant Leo, Midshipman Mike, Pro Pilot Don, and Raph the Green Teen Beret.
Well, I mean, like all the toys are weird, but it stems from the cartoon. Like, obviously these don't pull from the comic.
Oh, of course not. No.
But can we just, like, really quickly, I know that we've talked about this too long, but like, can we just talk about the original like 4 Ninja Turtles and how like their faces look like they're frozen in a stroke? And like the only variation besides like the color of their mask and shoulder and knee pads, is like the orientation of their mouth shape. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Raph is gritting his teeth. Mike has
Mike has no expression, right? Oh,
he has
one of them has no expression.
No, yeah, I think that's Donatello, who's just gritting his teeth, but with a closed mouth.
Yeah.
Which, how do you do that? I don't know, man. They later on made a weird series called the Toon Realistic, which was the sculpt said that it had a toon feel to it, which, what? How do you feel like a toon? But their eyes were like
You don't
wide
want
open
to
and happy.
Yeah, the toys are crazy. Also, the original Shredder looks like he looks like a dangerous homeless man. I'll just throw that in.
Where's his shirt? And he's
All right,
just
let's score this thing and put this crap to bed.
Goodness. All right. Yeah. Sorry for that. My goodness.
No, toy tangent. I mean, that could definitely be your own like standalone podcast, but not here.
Okay, I'm backing off. There's so many more things with the vehicles and crazy stuff. Look them up. There's some amazing stuff out there. Take a ride back into that journey. So
comics, cartoons, and toys. How are you scoring this?
I'm going to say, since I didn't really have a huge experience with the comics, they were fine when I read them. They only complemented the stuff that I watched on the TV, so I'm going to give that an 8. I think the TV show
8 what?
Oh, I'm so sorry. 8 Turtle Coms.
Oh, got it.
Yep. For the the cartoon will indelibly be stuck in my brain, and I'm sure that I absolutely loved it. I woke up every morning for it, but it is a little. Oh God, it pains me to do this, but I'm gonna give it like a 6.5 shurikens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's surprisingly not as good as the Mario cartoons.
Yeah, that is shocking. Maybe they should have thrown some Ron Jeremy intro to that.
There you go. And for the toys, I think I'm gonna say I think they did a lot of great molding for the independent characters, and there was a lot of good detail and some cool weapons. So I'm gonna give that an 8.2 slimes in the face.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, the show, I'm very similarly scoring this. I think the show is what it was for the time. And even watching it today, it's still kind of entertaining, in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way.
Decent voice acting.
Yeah.
With a limited script, it's the typical Saturday morning cartoon script.
It was very expected. I wasn't surprised. Whoa, that was worse than I thought.
Right.
So I'm gonna give this 7 radical rats.
Noise.
So yeah, glad it happened. Very happy it was there. Definitely filled that interim before X-Men became a thing.
Yeah.
And then the toys, I'm not even scoring the comics because I didn't experience it enough as a kid. The toys, I'm gonna give a 9, like a solid 9, because how many Ninja Turtle toys did you have that broke on you?
Just one actually.
Really, you had one that wow.
It was the door to the turtle van.
Yeah, all right, that
was the only weak point.
Totally, you open that up and that shit would just fly away. Whoever was on that door, dead.
Crack.
And that's why it gets a 9.
Nice.
But yeah, just detailed, fairly articulate, and a shitload of weapons. I still wish that I had that many options when I bought something today.
Exactly.
My car should have come with more weapons.
I know.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, good. I thank you all for sitting through this with us. This was daunting, and I'd love to take another smack at it. I'm sure that we'll come back to it when we do the movies and everything like that. It's just
the what? We're not talking about that.
I'm so sorry. The things that we do not talk about.
Yeah.
Voldemort. Shit.
Well, join us next time for Not the Movies.
That's right. There was Generation X, Generation Y, but what about Generation Huh? I'm going to take that again. Hold on. There was Generation X, Generation Y, but what about Generation Huh?
How about eggs? Mm-hmm. Eggs, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the higher your cholesterol gets.
And preparing for the Y2K apocalypse. What camo complements your machete? These are the jokes, folks.
These are that's why you listen.
Yeah. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Email us at outofmemorypod@gmail.com with all your questions, comments, and hate mail.
No.
We would really love to hear from you.
No. Why don't you give us suggestions for beer to drink next time?
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
We'll search it out.
Tasty beverages.
And we'll mention you and give you a shout out and a thanks.
Yes, we'll give you a whisper out. Whisper in.
So,
Thanks, Jeff.
So for Out of Memory, I'm AJ Hamilton.
I'm Christopher Hampson.
And have a bodacious and radical day.
Thank you for tuning in. Shredder, I want a divorce. Damn, really?
Oh, God.
You mutants may have won this round, but there will be others.
That's right. There will be others.
Will you shut up?